If you want to lose weight, then your workout timing can play a huge role when it comes to helping you achieve your goals faster. So in this video, we're going to focus on exercise, and I'm going to show you the best time to work out for weight loss. These are the exact same tips that I give to all my students, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. So you know it works. Before we get started, give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell to get notified every time I post a new video every week. I've always said that if the benefits of exercise can be manufactured as a pill, it would be the greatest blockbuster medication of all time. And you can get it for free, because I firmly believe that having a gym membership is just icing on the cake when it comes to achieving your health and wellness goals. You can get extremely fit without having a gym membership. So do not ever let that deter you from achieving your goals. And exercise can be used as a tool for many reasons. For example, I used it to become a national level weightlifter for a few years. Nowadays, I just use it to stay healthy and fit. Some people use it for endurance training, other people use it to rehab an injury. But this video is specifically geared if you want to use it to help with your weight loss goals. And your main goal with weight loss is to help your body optimize fat burning without tapping into your muscle mass. And we do that through hormone optimization. So we want to focus on a fat loss, muscle sparing strategy. I've literally never met a person who didn't want that. And with that goal in mind, one of the best times to work out if your goal is fat loss, and this works for building muscle as well, so we're killing two birds with one stone here, is first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, aka in a fasted state, meaning you haven't had breakfast yet. Fun fact, did you know that breakfast literally means break fast? It's the meal that breaks your fast, your overnight fast, which is sleep. Now, why is this beneficial? Well, it really comes down to your hormones, because your body functions through the secretion of certain hormones. This is why I always say that calories in versus calories out only works if you optimize your hormones. If you just count calories, it ain't gonna work. And the first important hormone that we wanna focus on is cortisol, which is a counter-regulatory hormone. And it's naturally high first thing in the morning, and one of its main jobs is to give your body energy when you wake up, and it does that by sending a signal to your liver to release stored glycogen and turn it into glucose so you can use that for energy. This is why the popular saying breakfast is the most important meal of the day is one of the biggest lies in the nutrition industry, because you actually don't need to eat first thing in the morning. There is zero science behind that. Only breakfast food companies want you to believe that so you can use their products. Think about it. Because your body is really smart. It gives you energy. And we developed this awesome system of being able to tap into our stored energy through evolution. If we did not have this capability, we would have gone extinct as a species. Because back in the Paleolithic times, I mean, think about it. Food was scarce. We went through the Ice Age. Our ancestors didn't wake up and say, oh, geez, I better eat breakfast. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. No, they would get up, they would already have energy through the uptick in cortisol, and they would just go about their day hunting for food. This is why I always like to say that meal times are completely made up. Cool? I just want to clear that up just in case the concept of working out on an empty stomach or the idea of skipping breakfast is completely foreign to you. Now, if you're not used to doing this, there is definitely going to be an adaptation period of around 2 weeks. Remember, if you've been eating breakfast all your life, then all of a sudden you start working out on an empty stomach, your body is gonna freak out a little bit. You might even feel weak at first when you start doing this. That's okay. It's perfectly normal. Your body will eventually adjust to this fat adaptation process. Remember, you are going against a lifetime of eating habits here. Now, in terms of balancing your hormones, which again should be your main goal, if you want to be a healthy human being, you want to make sure you're not getting unnecessary multiple spikes of cortisol throughout the day. Because you have to remember that exercise is also a type of stress. And if you already have naturally high cortisol levels and increased blood glucose that you can use for energy first thing in the morning, then it only makes sense to work out at that time and just piggyback off of that so you don't have an unnecessary cortisol spike, especially as it gets later during the day. And this becomes even more paramount if you are under a lot of stress from life, because chronically high cortisol levels leads to chronic inflammation, which is really, really bad for your health. And it also leads to that all too familiar weight gain around your belly. This is why I don't recommend working out really, really close to bedtime, because that is the time when you want to have lower cortisol levels so your body can prime itself to get the best quality sleep possible. The next thing we have to consider why you should work out first thing in the morning is you get to take advantage of growth hormone. You want to work out in the morning in a fasted state because you also have naturally higher levels of growth hormones during that time. Side note, do you know what suppresses growth hormone? eating breakfast. Just saying. And we're gonna talk about why that's important in a second here. Growth hormone helps you repair and protect your muscles, among other things, which is the muscle sparing factor that we're after. Other awesome benefits of growth hormone include increased muscle strength, better fracture healing, enhanced weight loss, stronger bones, reduced risk of cardiovascular disease, improvement in erectile dysfunction, decreased obesity, better mood and cognitive function, better sleep, and it's often considered the real fountain of youth because of its anti-aging effects. Pretty awesome, right? Now, the highest amount of growth hormone actually gets released while you're sleeping. Another reason why you should prioritize sleep above all else. And this makes sense because when you sleep is when your body gets a chance to rest and repair your muscles and other important restoration processes to keep your body functioning properly. Now, this does not mean that you should get up in the middle of the night to get your pump on. The moment you interrupt deep sleep, that rest and restoration process gets disturbed and your body has to work up again to get into that deep sleep state. So don't even think about it. In fact, lack of high quality sleep can negatively impact your growth hormone response. It also messes up other important hormones like ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone, leptin, which is the hormone that signals your body that you're full. It also affects the amygdala, which is the reward center of your brain. This is why you always have cravings for the worst food when you're sleep deprived, and why I mentioned getting proper sleep in every single one of my videos. None of this is going to work if you don't get good sleep. It's so detrimental that some scientists now consider shift work as, and I quote, probably carcinogenic to humans. So again, assuming that you do get good sleep and you get that slight bump in growth hormone first thing in the morning, and you can actually boost that further and get access to its muscle sparing, fat burning, and anti-aging benefits by doing intermittent fasting. In fact, there's a study that shows that after a 24-hour fast, testosterone can go up by as high as 180%, and growth hormone has been found to be as high as 2,000% from the baseline. Do you still want to eat breakfast cereal or instant oatmeal first thing in the morning? Okay, the third factor here is insulin. And for this to make sense, we have to circle back to growth hormone. They're all kind of connected. So when you're in a fasted state, that's when your growth hormones are high. And I mentioned earlier that when you eat breakfast, especially if you're eating a traditional North American breakfast of instant oatmeal, toast, breakfast cereal, granola, smoothies, pancakes, waffles, juice, then that's gonna cause a huge spike in insulin. By the way, if that is your typical breakfast, then breakfast is the most important meal of the day for you to skip. And I talk about the hormone insulin a lot on my channel and how important it is to keep it moderated if you want any chance at achieving your weight loss goals. Why? Because insulin is what controls your body weight. It's your fat storing hormone. And if insulin levels are high, it suppresses the release of growth hormone. All you really need to know is that if your insulin levels are high, you cannot access your body fat and burn it for energy. You just can't. It gets locked away. It physically locks up your fat cells, and insulin is the key. Long story short, high insulin blocks lipolysis, which is just a fancy term for fat burning. But once insulin is low, and this happens when you don't eat, aka when you fast, you also achieve this state by following a very low carb diet, then your fat cells become available, it gets unlocked, and that's what our body uses for energy. Basically, when your insulin levels are low, that is when your body switches to fat burning mode. If you're trying to lose weight, that is exactly what we want. Now let's get into the specifics of how to actually make this work in real life. The most important factor here is when you're planning your workouts, you want to make sure that it's actually realistic. Pick a time that works best with your schedule, preferably sometime in the morning. And ideally, you're working out on an empty stomach because of literally all the things that I just mentioned so far. And for a lot of people, especially if they're new, this is their biggest frog. If you've ever read the book, Eat That Frog, working out is right near the top as one of the biggest things they have to do that day. That is what the frog represents. And I don't want you to literally start eating frogs unless you like it. So if you eat your hypothetical frog first thing in the morning, then you are playing with house money for the rest of the day. But for some people, maybe they can't work out first thing in the morning, and that's okay. Maybe you can't go to the gym until 10 or 11 o'clock. That's totally fine. The most important thing is you're still able to work out that day. And again, ideally, in a fasted state. So if you do a 16-hour fast, for example, you can do your workout in the morning on an empty stomach, and you can have your break fast meal, which is breakfast, at noon. Now, going back to the one thing that determines your success outside of your diet, which is sleep, just make sure that your sleep quality doesn't suffer as a result of your morning workout. If that means that you have to go to bed half an hour or an hour earlier, then you need to make the necessary adjustments for that to work. Because any benefit that you would get from working out first thing in the morning on an empty stomach gets nullified if your sleep is trash. And I give this advice to all my students all the time. If you haven't been sleeping well and you're really tired and the choice is whether you get an extra hour of sleep or you get to work out first thing in the morning, I will always prioritize sleep every single time. And again, if you can't work out in the morning, it's not the end of the world. Like, I personally train at either 11 o'clock or noon every day. Because if you work out in a fasted state, you can still get access to most of the benefits I mentioned above. Specifically, the uptick in growth hormone and lower insulin levels. Now, what if you can't work out first thing in the morning or early afternoon? That's fine. You can still work out mid-afternoon or even after work. It's not the end of the world. It's better than not working out at all. Just make sure that you're not working out right before bed, or try not to do anything that's really intense at night. Worst case, honestly, just go for a walk. But if you do have the opportunity and flexibility in your schedule and you really want to balance your hormones and tap into your fat burning mechanisms faster, then that's when sticking to a morning/early afternoon workout, preferably in a fasted state, can really be a great tool for fat loss. Working out on an empty stomach also trains your muscles to burn fat for energy. The human body is an adaptation machine, and your muscles adapt to whatever energy source is available. So if you teach your muscles to prefer fat as fuel, then it's only gonna be more efficient at doing that moving forward. And training fasted in the morning isn't anything new. A lot of high-level athletes have adapted this way of training, like George St. Pierre, who's a UFC world champion. He credits fasted training when it comes to his improved performance. Herschel Walker, who's often considered as the greatest running back in college football and is a multi-sport athlete, has been training fasted for 25 years, and he just eats one meal a day. These are athletes that perform at the highest level of their respective sports. Even actors like Hugh Jackman and Terry Crews work out on an empty stomach, and they look pretty good to me. So if you're ever worried that you can't build muscle while working out on an empty stomach because your bro at the gym told you that you're gonna start withering away when you do this, that's wrong. But if you're still worried about workout performance, then put your mind at ease. They did a study on Muslim athletes during Ramadan, and their athletic performance didn't suffer. Like, there's a lot of high-level Muslim athletes out there, like UFC world champion Khabib Nurmagomedov. Do you think he's worried about working out on an empty stomach? No. Also, I'm a big fan of MMA, if you haven't noticed. There's also a study where doing a 3.5-day fast also didn't affect athletic performance. I personally did a 7-day water fast last year, and my athletic performance didn't suffer even on day 7. In fact, I've been training fasted at noon for the last 8 years, and this is the physique that I've been able to maintain. This stuff works. Listen, the human body is an amazing thing. And once you give it time to adjust and become fat adapted, to get used to burning fat for energy by working out in the morning in a fasted state and taking full advantage of hormone optimization, you can train harder, lose fat, and build muscle at the same time. Just remember that exercise is one of the tools in your toolbox from your multifaceted approach when it comes to achieving your health and wellness goals. 80% of your body composition is still gonna be determined by your diet. The next question then becomes, how are you actually supposed to eat if you want to lose weight? Because here's the thing, 80% of your body composition is determined by your diet. You can't just freestyle this part. Do you have a proven plan that you can follow? To help you with that, I want to give you a free copy of my Lean Body Blueprint. This is how I melted all the fat around my stomach without depriving myself of my favorite foods or wasting hours at the gym. It's a simple 4-step process specifically designed for busy professionals, and it's the exact same blueprint that I teach to all my private coaching clients, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. If you want to be the next success story, then download your free copy of the Lean Body Blueprint right now. There's going to be a link somewhere at the top here or in the description box. Just click on it, type in your email, and I'll send it to you right away. All right, that's all I've got. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I post a new video every week. And hey, leave a comment below if you have any questions about this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. First, a high five.